Hello and welcome to CraftStash. Now we are celebrating today. It is the last day of the year and we have had some amazing launches at CraftStash this year. So many in fact that I could probably do with a 3 or 4 hour show just to go through my favourites, but I've managed to whittle them down to just a few. So I'm just going to pop this bubbly away and we're going to run through today some of my favourite items. Okay, maybe I should take the tinsel off as well. Has the festive season gone yet? I think we're kind of almost there. We've just got tonight for our last bit of celebration and then it's back to getting on with 2022. But let's do some reminiscing. Let's have a look at what my favourite products were for this year from CraftStash. Now, I've put everything out on my desk here, so just come and join me down here to my desk. Let's pop the cameras around for you so you can see. I have got many items. We're going to run through the entire year, so we've got items from right back to January this year. We're still in this year if you're watching this on the 31st. We've also got some that are more recent launches as well. Let's take a peek. So first of all, my first favourite item from this entire year, maybe this was just January because I've got so many. It was the card making magic heart boxes. How fantastic were these? I cannot believe that we managed to get these in stock because they flew when we first launched them. They're absolutely beautiful. So we're looking at, from Christina Griffiths, these heart boxes. This is the 6x6 heart box. Now there are different sizes as well, so let's just open the packet and show you what you're getting inside of here. I'm going to do a couple of little kind of demos as well throughout this video, just so you can see how things work, maybe things that you've missed as you've been watching us throughout the year. So we've got some really, really big dies here. We've got beautiful borders and flourishes. We've got your heart-shaped dies here, so you can see the size of the dies that you're getting. They're massive. Look at those. Absolutely stunning. I know you want to see what you can make with them. Well, rather than me put one of these together for you, I've actually got some that our fantastic design team and of course the lovely Christina made for us. These are stunning, aren't they? Imagine being able to gift something you've made in that, or it may just be something that you've shop bought and you prefer this as the packaging. It is absolutely stunning. And inside here we've also got a little bit of paper there, a little note. We've also got the smaller size. So this is the 6x6, and then these ones here are your smaller boxes too. They are beautiful, but not only can you make the boxes, if I just delve into, I think it's this one, you can also make cards to go alongside too. Look at that. So a beautiful card shaped in that heart. You could maybe pop some gifts underneath, maybe some fudge. I've got a thing for homemade fudge. So maybe some homemade fudge, chocolates, biscuits, something like that. It doesn't have to be edible, of course, some bath salts or something. And then pop the card on top of that, the lid on top, and just seal everything in. How beautiful is that as a gift? If you missed these items, so these heart boxes, there's this one which is the medium, which is the 6x6, and then you've also got the smaller one as well. They are now available on CraftStash. Go and have a look. The best way to look is under Card Making Magic, the brand. You can look up all the brands online. Now, what else do we have? Now, I'm going to come back a little bit. Now, this is very much your paper craft. I'm going to come back to not so much paper crafting, but a little bit mixed media, because I know some of you love that too. Let's just pop these out the way so that they don't get any messy bits on them. Do you remember way back earlier in the year when the distress crayons came out at CraftStash? I have fallen in love with them, so I'm going to quickly show you how to use them in case you've not discovered them before. We love our distress products already, and I've got some to show you in a moment too. But the crayons were just a game changer. If you have any metal embellishments or anything that you want to add colour to, these will work. But then your porous papers and such as well, you can use them. And because they are a solid stick of pure colour that is water reactive, you can be adding these in really specific parts of your project if you want to, or filling large areas. And that's exactly what I wanted to show you how to do, is how to fill larger areas with them. So what I'm going to bring into play is just a little bit of water quickly, just a wet wipe as well. I do use wet wipes just to protect my finger. You don't have to use a wet wipe with this, but I just find it helps to spread the colour. Now let's delve into this pack first of all. And look, this blue is stunning, but I'm going to put some of this blue on my mat. I'm also going to put some on here too, just so you can see how vivid, how bright and beautiful that colour is. It's stunning, isn't it? Like I say, you can use your finger if you like, and you can smudge and you can blend these. And as I say, they are water reactive. All of those properties that you expect to get from your distressed products, you've got with these as well. But then you can also mix them with water to dilute them down. And I use a wet wipe here just to mix up, first of all, again, protecting my hand a little bit, and then spread them for a much paler look. Can you see how much lighter that colour is and how beautiful that blend is as well? Let's just add a bit more colour in there. So you've got the much paler colour and the darker, deeper colour. How gorgeous is that? They've blended beautifully. Now you can also do this not only on white, because of how beautiful these colours are. You can also do this on things like craft cardstock, which of course is a much darker cardstock than your white, and you don't always necessarily get true colours. But if we just take a look at that green. Now this green has like a pearlescent, a metallic look to it as well. And then when you blend it out with the wet wipe, how beautiful is that? And then I can do this and keep it really dark pigmented colour just by blending it out with my finger instead, so we don't lose any of the colour with adding the water. How gorgeous are those? So definitely take a look, if you love your mixed media, take a look at your distress crayons. There's different colour sets available on CraftStash. So now also, let's skip a little bit further into the year to October, because of course October is the time of year when we have our Halloween and all that sort of time of year, our colours. So of course, the lovely Mr. Holtz brought out his new colour, and this was the, I never know how to pronounce it, I think it's Villainous poison or potion, sorry. It's the most beautiful purple. It's absolutely stunning. So I'm simply going to show you how beautiful and how vivid this purple is. So we've got the ink. Now the ink, of course, is almost a thinner colour. Look at that. I'm going to bring in a blending brush. I was actually going to talk about my blending brushes as well. And let's get a nice blend of colour beside here, just to show you all the different shades that you can be getting with this colour, really depending on how you're applying it. Whether you're applying it with a brush, you're then going to get the lighter shades. If you're direct from pad, you can get lots of texture, but you can get the darker shades. That's the ink. Then we have the oxide as well. Again, the oxide, just look at that colour, it's so juicy, it's absolutely gorgeous. And I'm just going to pick this up here. Isn't that stunning? Love, love, love that colour. So the same colour, slightly different tones of the same colour really. But it depends whether you prefer to work with your oxides or with your inks. Now, of course, with each of these, if we spritz with water, we are going to get that reaction. Hopefully you can just see that speckling that we're getting with that water reaction. It is beautiful, absolutely stunning colour. Now let's just turn over, because we've also got the Distress Oxide spray. Now when you look at the Distress Oxide bottles, you can just see all that gorgeous mica just sitting in the bottom there. Now never shake your bottles up and down, because the powder or the mica, the colour, the glitter, whatever it may be that's sitting in the bottom of your bottle will then possibly go up into your tube, and that's how you get things clogged. So either just mix side to side or roll between your hands to mix everything up, okay? This mixes beautifully, there we go. And now just give it, when it's brand new, you'll need to pump it a few times. Look at that colour. Oh, how amazing is that? How vivid and pigmented is that spray? It's so beautiful. And of course, again, you can start mixing it with your water to create different effects. Look at that. just by spraying water and spreading that colour. Isn't that amazing? I'd love to play with that all day, but I have got a lot of products to get through for you. So let's just pop these to the side. So the Distress ink, my colour of the year is the Villainous Potion, or Villainous, I'm never sure, either way, I can write it down. The potion colour, the purple potion colour, and then also don't forget those Distress crayons too. It's really important because if you love your mixed media, we've had inks and oxides around for a long time. These are so much fun to play with. Now, we're talking about mixed media here, but of course, going right back to your essentials all year round, CraftStash have been introducing you to nesting dies of various different sizes and shapes and designs. So I've just got a couple here to show you. So we've got some of our really large nesting dies. We've got different packaging because throughout the year our creative brand had a little bit of a makeover. So we've got new packaging, but they're essentially all the same brand and they all work in the same way. So we've got stitched edge, we've got plain edge, we've got torn edge in hearts, rectangles, ovals, squares. We've got things like stars, Christmas trees. Of course, we've got circles as well. All of your favourite shapes in all of these huge sizes. And as you can see, they go from really quite large down to really, really tiny. This is an absolute staple essential. If you're reasonably new to paper crafting, this is certainly one that you're going to want to start using to top up your stash. Start gathering or start collecting all the different shapes, whether it's one a month, whatever it may be, and that will just start topping up your stash. And then, of course, the smaller dies and pieces, so these little ones, you can use for tags, you can use for mats and layers, for your sentiment pieces, whatever it may be. And the larger ones you can be making apertures from. Your actual card bases can come from that as well. They are so, so handy. So go and have a look under the creative brand for our large nesting dies. A massive, massive top tip for me, just start saving those. They're going to come in useful for the next 10 years plus. They're never going to be something that comes out of fashion. Now, if you're never sure about what to grab on the craft market, this is something that I want to recommend to you, and that's our Paper Craft Society boxes. This was probably one of my favourite ones of the entire year. I absolutely adore it. It's gorgeous. So we've got, from the designer Katie Skilton, a lot in here. Paper Craft Society boxes are a subscription box. If you've never seen them before, go and check it out. It is under the brands on CraftStash, but this is an older box. So I think this is box 20. We are now up to around about box 29 or 30. We're getting through them really quickly. It's one a month. If you subscribe to these, and you can subscribe at 3, 6 or 12 months, you will get them delivered to your door for free every month. And that also includes videos, inspirations. There's a craft along that you can join in with your box once everyone's received it. There's so much in there. Now let me delve into this one just to show you what you would be getting. So inside the box, which is such good quality, you're going to get a wallet. The wallet's got a name on, and inside the wallet there are things like dies, beautiful dies. We've got stamps, and very often what you'll find is the dies will coordinate with the stamp. So here we've got a wreath, and we've also got a wreath die here, which will cut that out perfectly. We've then also got, if I just pop that back in there, some papers in here, and we've got an embossing folder as well. So let me see, what papers do we have in this particular one? There's lots of different designs to choose from. We've got some that are in association with Mental Health UK. We've got designs from some of our design teams, some people who you've heard of, like Lynette Jasper, for example. She's designed a box. There's all sorts. So we have got stunning papers in here, and watercolour paper as well. My absolute favourite is this minty green or teal colour with a white script in the background. I don't know how well you can see that. It is beautiful. It is absolutely stunning. In fact, it's very similar to the background that's inside this wallet. So I like to keep everything from my Paper Craft Society box in that wallet, but that doesn't end there, because we've also got inside here, we've got lots of other things as well. Now, if you're buying or subscribing, you will have a voucher or a code or something in the bottom of your box very often, or inside your booklet, but they are obviously relevant for only a month or so after you receive it. So if you're buying an older box, which you can buy individually, you won't be able to use that code, just so you know. So inside here, I'm just going to open this box up and delve into what else we have. So we have in this one a postcard that has Katie's top tips for creating eye-catching cards. That's brilliant. So one of the, oh, here we go. So for example, adding small embellishments in odd numbers. Absolutely. Odd numbers draw the eye's attention, don't they, more than even. We've got here some clear embossing powder, and we've got two different types of ink pads as well, a lovely deep green and a black. We have got some gold glitter cardstock. We have got, oh, some more cardstock, coordinating cardstock. So we've got a pink, mint green, yellow, lilac, blue. Oh, that teal is amazing. And another green, and they're double-sided. And then lastly, we've also got the booklet. Now the booklet has so much in here in the way of inspiration, step-by-step instructions as well. There's an interview with Katie. There's loads there. This is just a sneak peek into one of your Paper Craft Society boxes, but you can go online and browse through all of the boxes, through the contents. You can see the reveals on our YouTube channel, so you can take a peek at exactly what's inside each one that way as well, and then go and purchase them whilst they're still in stock, because of course if we have the subscribers for them and they go out of stock, they're gone. We've never ever reproduced these. So that is my tip. This one came out much earlier this year. Let's come forward a little bit further to around about September time is when I first got my hands on something you've already seen, and that's the blending brushes. So the blending brushes, I was so happy when these came out. They're a pack of 10, and as you can see, the handles are all coloured. Mine are super messy because I just use them. Look, I use them all the time. You just saw me using my purple one, my purple-handed one with my purple ink, pink, for example, and so on and so forth. I love these. So a pack of 10 blending brushes. You can get these on CraftStash as well with the holder. You get it with the holder as well, which is really handy. So that's those. Adore them, honestly. Go and have a look. They're under the Creative brand. They're really handy. Like I say, you've already seen me using them. So then let's move to our tools. So this year was the time of year when lots of tools started coming out. Now I want to let's come to this one first, okay? So you all know I love Mr. Tim Holtz. I love the distress products that he brings out, but I also love the tools. Now this one through Tonic is the mini trimmer, and it is a mini trimmer. How handy is it? It sits on my desk all the time, and when it comes to card making, it's the perfect size. I love that noise as well. It's the perfect size for trimming down my mats and layers, trimming down my sentiment strips, and also trimming down my card bases. Or things like ribbon strips as well. I love it because you've got the easy to use handle, so it's like a guillotine rather than a trimmer, if that's what you like to call it. You've got the safety guard there as well, and you've got on here all of your measurements. So this is like every other Tim Holtz tool that you love and you've grown to love already in your stash, but the mini version, and then it's just easy to keep out, isn't it, and just have to hand all the time. I tend to find that I fall in love with a big version and then I just have to have the smaller version as well. But something that's not necessarily smaller, in fact this is kind of mid-size, and we're still sticking on the theme of tools, but this one just came out more recently this year, and it's probably between this and the blending brushes, this might be my favourite of the entire year so far. I mean, what is your favourite product this year? I'd love to know. Pop it in the comments. But this one is absolutely 100% my favourite because I use it for virtually every single project that I'm doing. As long as there's some stamping, this will be coming out, whether it's tiny, small pieces or large pieces. It's the Creative Craft Products stamping platform. Now, does your stamping platform, is it a fold over or is it like a stamping press? Does it press down? This does both, which is beautiful. I'm going to use it in just a moment with some products that I've got here that I'd like to show you. But with this one, you not only can fold it over and ensure that it's on your paper where you want it to be exactly, but you can also then press it down, even pressure all over. So you've got that option rather than folding it over and then realizing actually you've just missed, or you've just, you wish you were slightly to the left or right. You can look at it from above and see exactly where it's going to stamp before you take the final plunge as such. And we also have the magnetic base. We've got those magnets on there included with it. All of the measurements on here as well. And we've only got one lipped edge, which means the other three are then open for you to stamp onto larger pieces of cardstock. For example, if you're doing a border round or whatever it may be. So you've got that advantage too. I'm going to come back to this in a moment because I would like to just for a moment, just come here. Some products that have been brought to us a little more recently actually. Let's start with Gina K. The introduction of Gina K to CraftStash. We've seen many products from Gina K. I think this is my favourite. The stamps, the quality of her stamps are second to none. They really are. They're absolutely amazing. Have you tried them yet? Have you seen the designs? Let me now show you using that stamp platform. So let's take a look at this. So a brand new stamp, I love. Let's peel off this flower design. So a really big design and pop it into our stamping platform there. So now I'm just going to take a piece of card, and I'm actually purposely going to take quite a large piece of card. So usually you'd need to trim this down to fit inside your platform, but you don't need to now. So I'm just going to lift up the magnets and pin my paper down. I'm going to place my stamp onto the paper where I want it to stamp, fold this over, and as long as that's all in the right place, I can press down and lift my stamp up. There, gorgeous. Now, let me now take, let's use this new purple. How beautiful will this be? I don't usually do a lot of stamping with my oxides, not enough really, because they are beautiful for stamping and particularly for embossing. They stay wet long enough for you to do your embossing with. And what I will do, I will show you with this platform is the reason I love a stamping platform, because if you have any areas you've missed up inking there, you can go straight back over, everything's staying in place still, fold it over, and before I press down I can double check now that the stamp's still in place and that the paper is still perfectly in place. Then I can press down, make sure those areas that I've missed inking at the beginning are all pressed down firmly, and it's nice and easy because anywhere you put pressure on here, you're going to spread the pressure across the whole stamp. Look at that. Isn't that just a gorgeous stamp? And that platform is super duper easy to use as well. So let me just take a wet wipe and just clean this. John Lockwood, I love this. The effect you get on a wet wipe. John Lockwood would tell me off for cleaning my stamp with a wet wipe, but we won't tell him. He may see this, he may tell me off himself. But let's just pop this back because I've got other things I want to show you. So not only have we had the wonderful Gina K on CraftStash, you can go along and have a look at all of the products from the brand. Again, if you just go and have a look at the brand's name, there's simple on CraftStash, you've got a menu that says brands. You'll find all of our brands there, and they're in alphabetical order, so really easy to find. And you'll find Gina K there. Then another one I want to show you, another stamp brand that I love is Visible Image. Now, the guys at Visible Image, I've met them before, they're absolutely lovely, but their designs are stunning and so different. I've particularly picked this one because I do find for gentlemen, to craft for gentlemen can be a little bit difficult. So I've picked this one as a top pick, I suppose, for 2021, because I just bring this out time and time and time again when I'm doing something for my dad, for my brother, for my son earlier this year. This one, you're a classic, has the car in it. No matter your age, you'll always be a classic. It has the diagram of a car as well. It has happy birthday there too. And I love this background with the numbers there. You can just see them there. Fantastic stamp set. But not only this one, if you look up again, go to CraftStash, look up the Visible Image as a brand, you'll see so much. And they are such unique designs, honestly. Go check them out. Now, coming back to one of our own brands, and that is this one from Made to Surprise, which is the lovely Sam Cowcott. Many of you know her. If you've not heard of Sam before, for whatever reason, in the craft industry, she's extremely talented and she makes the most amazing moving cards. I say moving cards, kinetic cards, cards that have various different shapes and pieces that move and lift and all sorts. She's so good at all of that. So I've picked out for this video, for my top products of 2021, the Reveal Wheel, which was quite a recent launch of hers. But I just thought it was brilliant because when it comes to making cards for children, to be able to have, not just children of course, but to be able to have moving parts, you can have this and you, oh, just honestly, go and check out, if you go and have a look at Reveal Wheel on CraftStash, as you hover over the images, you'll be able to see examples. Sam has done lots and lots and lots of videos for us showing us how to use the products, how to put them together and what they look like. So go check those out. But Reveal Wheel, one of my top picks for 2021. Another top pick, because we're talking about all these different tools and inks and mediums and dyes, but one thing that they all have in common is the fact that you need paper. So a brand that I'd like to make sure you are aware that we have on CraftStash, because it is so popular, is Stamperia. I had the pleasure, I don't think it was even earlier this year, I think it was last year, of doing my very first Stamperia live on a Friday, and I just had so much fun. So I thought it'd be nice just to open up one of their paper packs to show you what's inside and the sort of thing you can expect when you get, excuse the noise, I apologise, what you can expect when you get a Stamperia paper pad. So let's look at this. Oh, the smell. I'm sorry, the smell is amazing. If you've ever had really good quality paper and you've smelt it, oh, it's just beautiful. I used to work in a craft shop and that smell when I opened the really nice paper packs, it just filled the whole room. Anyway, so I've picked out Lady Vagabond Lifestyle. This is a collection that we've got. It's, like I say, it's quite a recent collection on CraftStash. And let's just have a look through these pages and just appreciate the amount of detail that has gone into each and every one of these. Whether you want to use them for 12 by 12 scrapbooking, you can just use them as they are. If you want to cut into them for cards, for tags, for mini albums, for journals, I mean, look at that texture. It looks like it's textured, but it's completely smooth. They are such good quality. And look at this double page spread. I mean, that as a scrapbook page would be phenomenal as a double page spread. It's even got the pussycat in there. Or of course you can just cut elements. You can cut your strips of books there to go around a page or a card. You get like damask wallpaper there. These are just so beautiful. Look at these. You could cut these pieces out if you didn't want to use the whole piece. The texture in here, it's absolutely beautiful. This probably has to be one of my favourite of all of the Stamperia ever. I mean, if you've known me for any time at all, you probably know I've got a real passion for typewriters, to the point where I was actually considering getting my old typewriter, seeing if I can get it serviced and up and running properly again, in working order. I don't know how much I'd use it, but you know, you never know. And then look at all these different pieces you can be cutting out, fussy cutting out and using if you wanted to as well. So that is just a sneak peek at some of our Stamperia products that we have on CraftStash. Definitely one of my top brands for this past year, and I cannot wait to see what they've got coming in to next year as well. A couple more products I want to show you. Now, one of them, I have to say, I'm a little bit biased here. I'm just leaning over because they're miles away. This is a huge desk and my glass of champagne is risking toppling over. Who's having a little bit of champagne or a little bit of bubbly of some sort tonight? I hope you all are. I hope you're going to celebrate as best we possibly can this year, whether you're at home with one person, just yourself, with your animals, or whether you're with a big family, whatever it may be, get crafting first. That's what I'd say. So this is my brand. Now, I've had the Textures brand now. It started at the end of 2020. So I can't celebrate 2021 as being the launch of Textures, but it has been a full year of bringing you, excuse my chair, it's really creaky, of bringing you Textures collections. And I wanted to show you this one product, mostly because we've not actually launched this properly on CraftStash yet. So you may not have come across it. And it's actually a die set that has just gone crazy when people see what you can do with it. So I've actually got some cards here that have been made with it that I'll show you in a moment, but it's essentially a die set that's a card builder. So it is in the Art Deco collection. So there's a couple of dies there that give you an Art Deco theme if you wish to use them and add those on. But the main base, let me take the die out for you because that will explain it a lot easier, I think. So let's just take it out of its packaging properly. The main base is going to create for you a 5x7 card. So that's if you open a 5x7 up, so that's 7x10 inches. So you need your large die cutting machine. But inside this die, which cuts the outer edge of your card bases, you have notches. I don't know if you can just see those under my hand. These notches are then going to add in your scoring dies. So these dies, you get 2 of them in here, and you simply position these wherever you'd like them on your card. So you'll put your die that way down, so the cutting edge is onto the paper. Then you'll put your dies, so they'll sit within the notches, so you can have one there and then have another one here, and that will create for you, when you run it through your die cutting machine, a gatefold card like this, for example. A nice neat gatefold card. But alternatively, you can also move this die so that it sits, let's turn it this way, so it can go either way around, and put it in this section here. And then when you die cut that, just with that one scoring line, you're going to get a card base that is this sort of shape, which is what this one is. You can also put it in the middle there, and you can give yourself your general sort of 5x7 card base. You don't have to buy your card bases anymore. Or, there is another one here somewhere, here you go. Or you can make yourself a Z fold card too, like so, by just using those scoring tools in 3 of the notches. And this you can also use to create, let me just fold this for you to show you, if you miss out this score line and just fold here in the middle and here, 1/3 of the way along, create yourself an easel as well. And if you want to put a larger panel of something there, you can do. But as you can see, you can create lots of different shaped cards with it, with the one die set. You've also got the addition of matting and layering panels for some of the card shapes as well. And then your Art Deco design borders, which you can also die cut, just as an extra bonus for you in there. So that is my top tip for building your card bases up this year. I think it's just a tool of a die that's going to really help you, whatever your theme. You don't have to be doing Art Deco, of course. It's just going to give you lots and lots of different card shape ideas and make it really easy for you to build them. You've got all sorts of gatefolds and such. So have some fun with that. That is still available on CraftStash at the moment. Go and try that one out. So let's just see. I have got one more collection as such to show you, and I'm going to just demonstrate and show you how it works because it's quite new to CraftStash. We've not had it very long. So we've got I've got confetti coming down, would you believe? Confetti coming down. I don't know where it's coming from. I think I just went like this. See if we get, see? I don't know where it's coming from. I think we had confetti in here a long time ago and it's still sitting up in the roof. And when I make, there we go. Another piece just came down, look. It's raining confetti without me realising. It's celebrating. Maybe I didn't realise it's midnight already. Anyway, so we have got flower forming foam, and then we've also got the flower forming dies too. And these are all, well, the dies are from Apple Blossom, but they work really well with the Creative brand of foam. And I'm going to show you how they work together. So in the dies, we've got the rose, we've got the dahlia or the dahlia, however you prefer to say it, a daffodil, a peony, hydrangea, and we've also got the poinsettia. All of these can be those particular flowers, but you can also, of course, shape petals and flowers to make them look like other ones as well and add different colours in. So, you know, you can make whatever flower you like to from those basic shapes. But the flower forming foam, we've got 2 different colourways at the moment. There may well be more in the future. We've got, I think it's the spring and the winter maybe. Either way, we've got like warm and cool colours from these. And the idea with the foam is they're just so clever. It uses the heat either from your hands or from a heat gun. It warms the foam through and then makes it pliable or malleable. So you can move it and stretch it and twist it and shape it, and as it cools down, it then keeps that shape. So I'm going to do a quick demonstration of that for you. I'm going to use this peachy colour, and let's just use the rose there as that's the first one up, and show you how exactly this works. So you will need a die cutting machine. Now, if you want to use the foam on its own, you can absolutely do that, because the foam on its own is available. You don't have to buy it with the dies, and then you can just cut it by hand. If you cut some circles, cut some hand cut flower shapes, use a template if you want to, you know, however you want to go with it. I'm just going to cut let me just cut 2. I'll keep it, let's do that one as well, I think. I'll keep it simple. I'll do just a few layers for a rose, just to show you how they work. So, bringing in my die cutting plates. Got my machine here. I'm using a big machine, but you don't need to use a big machine at all for these. As you can see how small the dies are. They can go into smaller machines. So just placing these. Now the foam will cut with the dies in exactly the same way as you would cut your paper. You don't need anything special. And the beauty is, in fact, I'm going to show you, I'm going to fold this over, because you can cut easily more than 1 layer at a time. You can cut a couple of layers. So you can, of course, position your dies so that you have less waste, so that you get as much out of each sheet as possible. Let's now just pop this into the die cutting machine. There we go. So you can see I'm just die cutting this the same way as I would if I was die cutting a paper, and through the other side. And then I'm just going to release all of this. You get a little bit of static with the foam, but that's all. So when you've cut 2 layers together, one thing you do often get is the foam will kind of hold itself together. Keep that, you can use that later. So just peel apart your layers. That's one. You have embossing elements on these dies as well, so you can just use those. Now let's pop all these dies away, and then if you want to be colouring your flowers, your foam, you can do that with lots of different things. But one of my favourite things to colour them with is actually my distress crayons, which is another product from earlier this year that we've already covered. But let's bring them in again, because we've got the red here. So with this, I would just take a wet wipe. Again, more so than anything to protect my finger, but it also helps with the blending too. I'm going to use a little bit of red just on the corner. Let's bring that, we had a mat, didn't we? We did have a mat here. A blending mat is always handy. And just show you how I would add a little bit of red just to the edges. I'm just kind of dabbing the red off the wet wipe onto the foam. Hopefully you can see that pink edge. It's ever so subtle, but that's more than enough for if you're doing a nice flower. If you've got a little bit too much, just move to the next petal, and then when you've taken some colour off of your wet wipe, you can go back and blend out the colour that you've just put on. I'm just going to do this to one layer, just so that you can see how I would add colour if I wanted to, and that's all I would do. And just by dabbing the edges, you're giving it a really natural look too. So just bringing my distressed crayons back in, another one of my top picks for the past 12 months. Now each one of these, I'm going to open this up again because this is a heat resistant mat, definitely something that you need to look into getting. But each one of these I'm just going to now heat, and I can show you how the foam reacts in heat. This is a little bit noisy, but as I put the heat tool, and definitely use a heat tool, a hairdryer will just blow it around, won't be warm enough. You can use the heat from your hands as well, which I'll show you in a moment, but definitely a heat tool is by far the best effect. I'm going to just hold this over the flower, moving it around for a moment, just making sure the heat is distributing evenly over the petals, and within seconds you'll start to see the petals lift up and start to curl and shape. Then I'll just take the heat straight off and I'll leave it. If I wanted to, I could then start adding some shape, and as I work through you'll see me do that to some. So I'm going to hold it down in the middle and then put my heat on, and it will just take a moment to actually get warm. So let's just put it over there for a moment while it gets warm. And when I think it's warm enough, bring it over here, start moving it around. So I'm going to stop early on that one, but hopefully you can see that has shaped itself. That has given itself, if I pop it on my hands there, it's lifted those petals up, and now it's cooled, it will stay like that. If you don't have a heat tool, you can use your hands, so just grip each one between the finger and thumb, start to let the warmth get through, and you can start to stretch and mould and shape it. But by far the best effect, in my opinion, hopefully you can see the difference between this one and the petal next to it. It's much quicker to go in with your heat tool and just whip round each layer. There we go, see that one's a smaller petal, a smaller layer, so I've let that lift up a bit more. This one will be similar to the first. And just allowing them to cool. This one I'm going to let lift up quite far, so it's really curled up into itself. And you can shape and manipulate these a bit more as well whilst they're cooling. So just with my hands, I'm going to hold it into that curled up petal shape that I'd like. Now you want them to be natural, so you don't want them to be too perfect. But now already that has cooled down and that is staying within that shape. The last one, I'm just going to take one single petal for this. You can do a lot more. I'm going to just hold it at the very tip, warm it through. And then I'm just going to roll this one while it's cooling. Just roll it right up into quite a tight bud there. So that will be the centre of my flower. So I would use hot glue, which I haven't got on me or haven't put on. Just pop that little bud inside there, then into the next flower, just layering up these, and you can see how beautiful is that rose. 3-dimensional. It's water resistant as well, so you can do this for home decor, for outdoor, for garden decor and things like that. If you want some faux flowers, some colour in the winter in your garden maybe, you can do it for things like that. Parties, carnivals, whatever it may be, you can use this foam for, and of course it colours really easily. So that is my last top pick of 2020. That's the flower forming foam from Creative, and also of course the dies too. So let's now celebrate. We are at the end of 2021. Did I say 2020 a minute ago? I think I might have done. 2021. Let's get the bubbly out tonight. Just one bottle, 2, 3, whatever it may be. Make sure you have a fantastic New Year's Eve. I hope you've had a brilliant crafty year this year. Despite everything else that's going on, one thing that has remained is our crafting. And with all these products, and of course so much more next year to look forward to, I think 2022 is also going to be a fantastic year for crafting too. I cannot wait to see what you make next year. Just enjoy tonight. Enjoy the next few days if you're not quite back at work. And I will see you next year with new launches, new offers, new deals, and of course, new products. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.